What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here, back for another VOD review. Today, we got a Dishsoap VOD review, because he's ranked 1 North America, we're on a new patch. As I've said before, he is one of the better players to watch on a new patch, just because he plays really solid, really good TFT in general. So let's see what Mr. Dishsoap is doing. I would say, after playing a good bit of the patch myself, I feel like my main takeaway so far is, it's essentially last patch. With a lot of the 4-cost lines being very dominant, you can play like the Ash Lilia line, you can play like the Kaisa Trickshots line, you can cap out the Kaisa line with like Dragon Lords, you can play the Kain line still exists, the Heavenly stuff, though it's a little bit different now. But yeah, like all of the old 4-cost lines still exist. But we've thrown in a little sprinkling of reroll here. We got a little duelist's reroll if you get a good spot for it. A little Alloon reroll, as I have alluded to before. So yeah, it's really like last patch, just with some extra stuff added on it, which I really like, because, I mean, it just makes for a pretty solid patch overall. Dishsoap here with this opener here doesn't have many good options here. You can take 2 healthy here. It's a fantastic augment to play into something like a Kaisa, and this person looks like they're already picking up that 2 healthy to potentially play towards something. The only downside to picking up the 2 healthy here is that we just have the Teemo here. We do not have any other 2 costs to play around, but it looks like Dishsoap already from this spot. He's even gonna slam the Sunfire. Wow, what an aggro slam. But yeah, Dishsoap already here, probably angling towards Kaisa. And you know, this is something that you'll do a decent amount of the time. This patch is just take an early augment like this, and you have a really good spot, I would say. Sunfire with Glove open with an early Teemo with potentially a Fortune start. We'll see if we can get there, but you know, we already have the Zoe and the Teemo, so we just need to find Koboko. It's kind of funny that he's the last one for us to find. But let's actually take a look at that Exalted real quick. And he just, ooh, Galio Morgana, Lilia. You can definitely fit this with some setups. It's not like free, but it's not impossible. And then Ink Shadow was, it looked like Force there, but I might have been mistaken. But yeah, this will happen a decent bit where you'll have an opener like this. You know, an analogous opener would be, you know, something like this that this person has, where they took Caretakers, made an Edge of Night. This person is angling towards Heavenly, and you'll be in some ways stuck into one comp, and that's TFT. Sometimes you just have a really good angle for one comp and you just play that comp and it turns out fine. But you know, TFT also can sometimes go the other way, where you miss for that comp and then the game gets really difficult. So we'll see what this game ends up actually being. Hopefully it's a game where we end up actually hitting. We rolled Fortune there, and it was a, okay, I'm gonna be real, I saw it just out of the corner of my eye. But it's an interesting play from Dishsoap here. He has the win streak, so he's just gonna say, I'm gonna hold on to Fortune on my bench, and then I'm gonna wait and see. Like, if I lose a fight here, like if I lose this fight, maybe he's gonna decide to pivot into the Fortune board. But hey, if I get a free 5 streak with this kind of weak board, then you know, I'll certainly take it. Ooh, this is a crazy carousel. This is the entire carousel is full of 4 costs. So as far as the units we'd like to pick up, the Kaisa, the Galio, the Sylas are all units that we would like to play. Maybe we're going to end up, he wants to actually go for the Galio here. I think this makes a lot of sense. And Kaisa being the last left unit makes is pretty funny, but I could certainly see it. And yeah, as I said, we win that fight. Now time to just pivot the board into this setup here. A little awkward. I guess we're gonna have to sell the Riven here well, maybe he just doesn't even want to make a, I mean, you gotta want to make 20, right? But there's no way we're selling this Galio, which means we have to sell the Riven, and that's just life. Yeah, buy the Garen, and that's fine. But yeah, the reason we picked up the Galio is because the item is so much better, and Galio is still a fantastic unit to have for this this comp, right? Taking the sword means that we get to just make the IU whenever we want. Probably gonna wait a little while because we do have Fortune in, but it's fine. And the upside is that you know, we still get Galio, who's as I said, a fantastic unit in this comp. Actually, kind of funny our spot here, because now, like, we want to make gold, but we'd have to sell Sivir here. I don't know if I'm actually down to sell. Oh, he is. He's down to sell Sivir here. Okay, so he sells Sivir here and just makes 30 gold here. Yeah, that's a scary one for me, just because of the fact that, you know, sometimes that Sivir does not come back late game and you're just stuck in Sivir jail. But we're still only level 4. There's a pretty high chance that we're going to get to a Sivir later, and making 30 is really nice. Maybe if it was from 30 to 40, we wouldn't care so much, but making 30, like, it's not always that you're going to get to 40 here. Though, and we look at shop and hey, we immediately pick up a Sivir. It's a 4 on our next roll here. That'll be interesting. 4 from this position. I need to, there's a really nice Fortune table that exists, not the loot table, which is another thing in itself, but there's a nice table that says, like, if you get Fortune in like at this stage, what will your cash out be? So you would look at like 2, 3 on the table. I always ask people for that table, and I actually like lost it. I kind of need to find it again because it's very, very helpful. Also, speaking of very helpful, our items drops are amazing here. We just get dropped the full IE Last Whisper. So we are very, very likely, I would say, to be playing Kaisa this game. Everything indicates that we're playing Kaisa, and this will be just a nice kind of like straightforward Kaisa game where we can, you know, get to play a comp that is one of the better comps on the patch. The only slightly scary thing about this patch is how contested it often ends up being. But the nice thing is that, you know, we saw Kaisa went to the last pick on Carousel here. I'm such an enjoyer of Tiny but Deadly. New Recruit I would like at 4-2. At 3-2 I like it a little bit less. I'm curious to see what Dishsoap picks here. Bulk should be good, but the stats just... I think the Augment's a little undercosted or understated. He does actually just go for the New Recruit here, yeah. So it's New Recruit versus Tiny but Deadly there. And maybe the idea, I haven't actually checked the stats for the comp, but I could see the idea being that, you know, in this comp, you really care that much about attack speed on your Kaisa. Like, Kaisa's not a unit that you want to build like a Gwynsu or anything on. You just want her getting to her cast, but while she's casting, the attack speed doesn't really matter. And obviously New Recruit with a duplicator, with Fortune. Imagine we get a cash out that gives us like a 5 cost or something, and then hey, maybe we can just duplicate, find like a Xayah for free or something like that. We're already playing for Lost Streak here, so like, do we really care about spiking our board right now? The more I think about it, the more this play makes a lot of sense. But yeah, we're just going to make our board as good as we can without winning. I've talked about, you know, how Setsuko does this, how Dishsoap does this. All the best players will play a very, very conservative board when they are playing Fortune. They would rather, you know, kill 0 and guarantee the loss than, you know, kill 2 and accidentally win, which, I mean, okay, you can't kill only 2 and win, but you get what I mean. And I mean, that makes a lot of sense when you're playing on Fortune, right? The difference between, you know, being like a 30 stack cash out and like a 11 stack cash out is huge. And the difference between being, you know, 40 HP and like 46 HP is just really not that much. There is another Galio on Carousel here, but we're just going to go try to pick up the sword here towards, I guess, a last Kaisa item. We're Tattoo of Force, right? So I think the idea here is that it's not actually going to be very easy. We don't actually have a tattoo that we can use onto Kaisa later, so we probably want to pick up a tattoo that actually exists well on Kaisa. Oh, this is something that Dishsoap does a good bit, actually, is the red Kale here, just to try to kill extra units, because blue Kale, especially with 1 red kill already, is like not amazing at killing units, like just to get to that cast, and even then sometimes the cast can whiff, whereas 5 Storyweaver red Kale actually has a good, you know, shot of killing units. Ooh, interesting that he throws Morgana Sylas onto this board. That's, I mean, just kind of like random ins that I guess you can play. 27 stacks here. We're not cashing. Is this the round? Oh, this is the round? That's so rough. Yeah, so we cash out just before 30 stacks. Feels a little bit bad. We also get our Augment here from this. Dishsoap is going to tailor his board here. Lotus probably the pickup, I would think. But then we get Martyr, and I'm surprised he likes Martyr even more than Combat Caster. I love Combat Caster, but I guess this is a comp that doesn't really love Combat Caster too much. And ooh-wee. Item here, what do you take? He's going to take the Wit's End for now, but I feel like we got nothing out of that. Just Wit's End here, attacks deal extra magic damage? What are we going to do with this? I mean, this will be a fun game just to see how Dishsoap navigates this, because, yeah. Oh, I guess the other thing with Martyr is it synergizes really well with our other 2 augments. New Recruit, we get an extra unit that procs Martyr. The 2 Healthy, we get extra HP that's going to scale with Martyr. So, looking at that, thinking about that more, I think it makes a lot of sense. At this point, 50 gold, level 7. We're just prepping for our 4-2. We have enough gold that we can 4-2 it. We're not going to be super, super rich. Oh my god, that's another Ornn item, by the way. And a Kaisa, which is, yeah, certainly not bad. Now we can just think about pivoting into that. This is something else that I wanted to talk about this game. I did scroll through this game a little bit, and I did see that we got a suspicious trench coat this game. This is such a cool new artifact. If you guys haven't seen this, so watch this Koboko. When this Koboko drops to 50% HP, he's gonna die, and instead of dying, really, he's gonna split into 3 more copies of himself that have quite low HP, but outside of that, they're just copies of him. They include his items. I believe, yeah, they keep the synergies. So it's a pretty crazy little artifact to play around. There are a lot of great units that can hold it. Udyr is one of the best ones. Sylas also in this comp is a very, very nice holder of it. This also, talking about Dishsoap, flex play, good TFT. He is going to go with the double, i.e. Kaisa, by the way. This is something that has been talked about, you know, like in the past. Carries like this tend to be fine with something like a double IE, and, you know, he got there. I think he'd probably prefer something like a GS or Deathblade, but double IE works perfectly fine. But yeah, that was kind of a cool board that we played for a round. Was just the just playing around the Wukong for a second. Now that he has more time to roll, we're just gonna roll our board down here. We want to pick up, say, like the Galio 2 or something, so we aren't forced to duplicate. We have so many different options, and yeah, we're gonna move this Wit's End, the Tattoo of Force, and the Suspicious Trenchcoat over to the Sylas here. This Sylas is gonna be a monster. I'm gonna be very, and ooh, I haven't even seen this idea, but Tattoo of Force, Suspicious Trenchcoat, that kind of seems nutty because all of these guys are going to dash at the start, I would think, and proc their stun. I think that might be insane. I guess we'll see as the game goes on. At this point, we're really just looking for a final Galio item. He picks up a tier here, probably half a redemption, or it could end up being nothing. I feel like it has to be half redemption. I guess it could be Teemo item in a pinch, or like some kind of item for one of our other units. And here it is. That's exactly what we needed. We roll down, we find the Kaisa 2, we find the Sylas 2, and that allows us to use the duplicator. This is what we wanted, right? Because if we use the duplicator on the Kaisa and then find another Kaisa, then it feels horrible. But this way, now that we find the other two upgrades, now we can use the duplicator, guarantee the last upgrade, and we're in a fantastic spot now. 45 HP, not insanely healthy, but with this level of a board here, with fantastic items, fantastic augments, I think you got to be very, very pleased about being in this setup if you're Dishsoap here. Also, he's looking at that Exalted because he's playing the Senna right now. I don't think it's fittable, but maybe there's some kind of idea here. At this point, Dishsoap, ooh, he's gonna put the Ashe in a team planner here. That has to be because somebody's going for Ashe 3 in this lobby. He must have scouted them. I think he scouted them really quickly while I was like looking at my recording setting. But yeah, I guess someone's going for Ashe 3 in this lobby, so always, especially in this meta, you gotta stay diligent in spots like this, especially end of stage 4, early stage 5. It's very, very likely that people will be going for 3-star of their 4-cross, especially if they can, you know, we're Prismatic lobby, we got a duplicator, someone else might also have a duplicator from New Recruit. It's certainly scary. But yeah, I mean, at this point, we're just looking to push level 9. You can sort of pivot out of this board into the Dragon Lord version. Because we have Galio 2, Sylas 2, I have to imagine we're going to sit on this version of the board. Usually what you see people level 4 is Ink Shadow, but we have the New Recruit that actually gave us Ink Shadow, so it's actually kind of funny. What do we want here? I know a decent number of people like to just go like blue buff. Like you could go like blue buff Crown Guard and just throw the blue buff onto the Teemo here. There's no redemption. It could also be Vow Archangel. He's going to go for the bow. What is this? Static? Where's the bow? The bow's taken forever to get there, but it's Static Archangel is the idea. Whoa. Okay, so no third Galio item, Static Archangel, and maybe these items will end up in an Azir later. I know the Uno Offo. Oh, they're 2 duplicators. They're 2 duplicators with an Ashe. That is pretty scary. Oh, and some more anvils here, so we could either finish out our Galio items, I think ideally, or, you know, maybe we finish these AP items that are sitting on Teemo right now. Ooh, it's interesting that he really wants the Gargoyle here. I think... No, I mean, actually, is it interesting? I mean, it is interesting, but I think it makes perfect sense the more you think about it. We have 2 healthy, so we have extra HP on the Galio. We have Martyr, which is also going to heal up our Galio. So we really just want as much resist as possible on this Galio. The Gargoyle is also going to give us magic resist, which is something that we are sorely lacking on the Galio. Whereas, yeah, we already kind of have enough HP. And man, look at the Suspicious Trenchcoat. Sylas, go. I feel like every single fight that gets popped, he just 3 fly out and then he just dashes forward, and the fights do not seem winnable for anyone with this Sylas setup. It's so cool. I have not seen anything like this, but it's awesome. But yeah, I guess the big question at this point is, what are we getting in on 9? I mean, maybe the idea is we will just play Exalted. There was Morgana as an option. Yeah, you just throw Morgana in on this board. Actually fits really, really well, and you just opt to not play the Udyr. You just play the Senna, and we get Exalted in. I have to feel like that's got to be it, but I guess we'll see. 2 completed items here. We are just, we're kind of swimming in items. If you want to go for the Teemo item, you can go the blue buff. I don't know where the other item's even going to go. Also, that double Gunblade Kaisa just looks hilarious. There's also, I guess, Adaptive Helm. Adaptive Helm I actually like a great bit because the Adaptive can go onto... Oh, and he's putting all the Exalted units into his planner. The Adaptive can, of course, go on the Teemo, and then the IE can just go on... For now, it's Bard, but eventually that's going to be Xayah, so that's really nice. These Teemo items are so interesting. I guess, thinking about it more, though, he wanted to prioritize the Static Shiv because he knows the Sylas is going to be doing a lot of magic damage, and the Teemo You know, if you went something like Blue Buff Deathcap, those would be certainly better Teemo items, but you want to play for this Sylas here because he's going to be such a big part of the team. Yeah, the only reason we lose this fight is because our backline actually gets sniped this fight. I don't know what that was. That was like Morgana ult plus something that killed our backline, but it feels really, really bad actually that our backline gets sniped there and Sylas is the last unit to live, because if Sylas can survive in these fights, he's going to buy so much time with this Tattoo of Force. But yeah, it must have been like Morgana ult plus Lilia. I mean, we are very, very clumped with our backline here, so Morgana ult is always going to go towards these units, but I mean, versus a lot of other people, we're not going to get punished with this positioning. We're fighting a Yone 3, actually, of all things. Yone is, I wouldn't say completely back, but he's a little bit back with all these changes to Umbral. We do just get, once again, the Sylas jumps out of the trench coat. We get 3 Sylases. They're all stunning guys, and yeah, it's monstrous here, actually. So at this point, we really just have to figure out if we can cap out our board high enough to win some of these other matchups. We're not the richest person in the world. Like I said, the level for Exalted will be pretty nice, especially if we can actually get to a Morgana. And hey, I mean, with this amount of gold, I mean, surely you take the level. Oh, it's also Pot of Gold. I always forget about Pot of Gold here, but now we have to think about what can we actually hit in spots like this. Like even a Kaisa 3 picks up a random Hui 2. Oh, that's 3 Kaisas already. We just need 3 more. Oh my god, 2 more? We're getting really, really close here to Kaisa 3 out of nowhere just from the Pot of Gold. Also, is this song sucks? Yeah, I don't like that one. Okay, I'm skipping that one. I'm trying out, these are some of the Riot like playlists, some of the Riot music, which they're hopefully not going to copyright claim for. It's surprising actually that we're one of the only people who looks close to a 3-star 4 cost. There's the Zyra Khan, throw that in, move the IE over. Gonna spread out our backline a bit more. I don't know if this is because of Zyra Khan or if it's just because of the fact that we're fighting the Morgana person again. Are we fighting them? That's Protect Scroll. Yeah, we are. So I love this spread out here. But yeah, it looks like no one else is close to 3-star 4 cost. They just used, a lot of them use this gold to go 10. Protect Scroll level 10. The problem, though, is that our board is so capped that we still stomp him. He's also down a full combat augment with the road less traveled being his first augment, so it's a relatively easy win for us. And yeah, I mean, at this point, our board is fully upgraded. We have everything you could ever want. We're basically just rolling here for, wow, we pick up the Yone, which ends up being our inclusion. Actually, Yone here for Umbral for Sylas, which is pretty cool. Instead of the Morgana. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Also, I don't know if we even saw Morgana, so we might. I'd be curious to see what Dishsoap prefers here, but I mean, Yone too, definitely a decent inclusion here. And my god, it's another stomp of a fight. We don't even get to Kaisa 3 because we just stomp with Kaisa 2. What a cool game. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Twitch and all my other links down below. Thanks for watching.